Hi, this is Brian Payton Joyner, and today we're going to be making one of my favorite sauces. It's a Romesco sauce. My husband and I absolutely love Spanish cuisine, and Romesco sauce is a staple in Spanish cuisine because it is so versatile. You can use it in seafood. We went to happy hour the other night and had it with calamari. Like, in fact, when they sat the calamari down in front of us, the first thing we said is, hey, can we have another thing of this Romesco sauce? Because we both love it so much. It's great with chicken, and that's what we're gonna have today with our lunch. It's also awesome even with steak. We did that for a friend of ours' 50th birthday party, made Romesco sauce with steak, blows minds. The first thing we have to do in starting this dish is we have these walnuts that need to be toasted. Now, when I first started dating my husband, he had me over and he had gone to Costco or something and had bought a package of nuts. And he put them in a little dish, and I was trying them, like these. I'm like, they just don't have that rich, smoky flavor. They don't have any salt on them. So one thing that's very critical that you have to do with raw, unsalted nuts is you need to really sort of bring out the flavor. You want to toast them. Some recipes, and some people say toast them in your oven. I think that's very dangerous to do that under the broiler, or at least it has been for me. What I tend to do is I'll put it in the oven, take a look at it, and I swear 15 seconds later it's on fire. Literally, I have caught things on fire in the oven under broil. I tend not to use the broiler, but it's very easy on the stovetop. One of the first things I do, like I said, is I put the salt in my skillet, and I like the salt to get a little bit brownish in color, so I'm using this really nice Himalayan pink salt here. But once it gets a little hot, and that's the way I also will know that my pan is hot, it'll get that nice brownish color. Now I don't want to have the nuts be kind of whole. I am going to put them in my food processor, but one of the things that's important when you're toasting something, if you think about the surface area, and so the surface area is going to be, if you've got like a whole nut, then it has less surface area. If you break it up into pieces, you have more of that, sort of more sides are exposed and more ability to get toasted. Then I can start to smell. So I think it's very important when you're doing nuts. I think a lot of the way you can tell they're done is when you start to smell them a little bit, then I just shake the pan. So I'm gonna put these in there. And there's a little bit of like this, I don't know, nut dust or whatever that's left in here. I don't want that in there because that's really it's almost like a walnut flour. If I had like a paleo friend or gluten-free friend, I could give them some of that, but I'm not gonna use that. So what you're gonna do is you're just gonna constantly sort of keep these stirred up. I have this on a very high heat setting, which for this particular induction cooktop is very high. So I'm gonna stir those a little bit, and in the meantime, I'm gonna go ahead and fry up the garlic. 1 clove of garlic. A lot of times people have little choppers. Let me give you a little trick. You're gonna take this, and you're going to just, hear that? Beautiful sound. You can see how that has, see how that is kind of flattened out. And I'm smelling these things starting to get well, so I'm gonna have to do that. I'm gonna just chop this up really finely, do it one direction, and then I'll turn my cutting board the other way, which makes it easy. So, and that is, well, actually these things are really, I'm gonna have to turn this down. So they're really getting toasty. Now, one thing you have to remember is this pan is getting hot. So if you're ever at the point where you feel like these things are starting to get a little too toasty, which I'm not quite there yet, you always want to have just a clean, cool pan ready to go. Because once these are toasty, you can get that going. So while these are finishing up, I'm going to go ahead and put the ingredients in my food processor, or this is a blender actually, but you can make this in the food processor. So we'll put in, this is a tablespoon of the sherry vinegar, 2 tablespoons of the tomato puree. We have the 2 ounces of the roasted red peppers. One ingredient I don't think I mentioned earlier was the smoked paprika. One of the great things about this sauce is it's very smoky flavor, and that comes from the smoked paprika. Now you have to get smoked paprika. Paprika on its own is not going to do the same thing. You can smoke it yourself, but it's hard to roll it into a little paper. I'm just kidding. Have to do it sort of the same way. Okay, these I can tell are starting to get good. But if you can see they getting some brown bits, you can always sort of tell mainly by taste. Loving those. I'm gonna put these on my plate here to cool just momentarily. Put my garlic in. Recipe calls for half a clove of garlic, but I don't know, I like garlic, so just sort of use that discretion. And then start with half of these walnuts. That's what the recipe had called for. I think when you have walnuts, it's easier just to do a pan like that. Put this in our blender. Alrighty, so let's see how this turned out. Looks beautiful. It's got this smoky red color. You can see how it turned out just really lovely. And the consistency of it is this really nice kind of, it's got a little bit of chunk, not too much. Oh my God, that is so good. That sweetness and the vinegary, that acid really hits my tongue at first, but then I get this sort of notes of like the smoky paprika really comes out, and you get that really nice full mouthfeel from the walnuts. Can't wait to enjoy this on some chicken. So I hope you guys will try out this sauce. As you can see, it's super easy to make and it's fantastic. You can also make a lot of it and then you can refrigerate it for several days as well and have it with a couple different things. So enjoy your Romesco sauce with whatever you'd like. This is Brian Payton Joyner.